is a good thing. I understand that both of these young ladies, and I'll relate it to the race in just one moment. Both of these young ladies were already defined, and they already had to play roles before they even stepped on the court.
Angel Reese destroyed by fans? She's no Caitlin Clark? I saw those headlines too, and honestly, I couldn't disagree more. Today I'm going to show you why all this hate might be the best thing that ever happened to Angel's career and the WNBA. Remember when Reggie Miller was the most hated player in Madison Square Garden? Or when people couldn't stand Draymond Green? Those players didn't just survive the hate, they used it to build their legacy. I'll break down exactly how Angel is following the same blueprint and why it might make her even more valuable than being universally loved. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
You say that this is a mirror of what we're living in our broader society.
I feel like sports, politics, and culture always intersect. I think the story of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the rivalry, which really isn't a bad rivalry or a true rivalry.
You know what gets more attention than being loved? Being absolutely hated. That's just the cold, hard truth in sports. Angel Reese's Instagram and Twitter are basically on fire right now. Every post she makes erupts with thousands of comments. And guess what? Not all of them are saying nice things, but that's exactly the point. When Angel posts anything, a photo from practice, a game highlight, even just a casual selfie, the engagement goes through the roof. People who love her defend her passionately. People who can't stand her still click, comment, and share. Her haters are literally helping her build her brand by keeping her name in everyone's conversations. That's not a failure, that's marketing genius. Remember the bad boy Pistons? Those guys were absolute menaces on the court in the late 80s and early 90s.
Just based on where they come from, how they were raised, and how they conduct themselves. So when we see Angel Reese doing the "you can't see me" ring finger to Caitlin Clark, the optics of this black girl really taunting this white girl was hard for all of America to see.
Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, they played a style of basketball that made opponents and fans of other teams furious. They weren't winning any popularity contests with Boston Celtics fans or Michael Jordan supporters. But look what happened. They grabbed back-to-back championships in '89 and '90, and we're still talking about them today. Being the villain worked for them. It made them unforgettable. Everyone's out here saying Angel needs to tone it down, be more humble, smile more, basically be more like Caitlin Clark. But what if all these people have it completely backward? What if Angel's refusal to play nice is actually the smartest move she could make? For decades, the WNBA has been fighting just to get a fraction of the attention that men's sports receive. They've had amazing talent, incredible games, and inspiring stories, but mainstream coverage, minimal at best. Now suddenly Angel Reese enters the picture with her unapologetic confidence and fierce competitiveness, and people who've never watched a women's basketball game in their lives are tuning in. Some are watching just to root against her, but guess what? Those eyeballs still count in the ratings. Think about what happens when you have genuine tension and contrast. Muhammad Ali wasn't universally beloved during his prime. He was incredibly polarizing. Some people couldn't stand his trash talk and confidence. Kobe Bryant had plenty of critics throughout his career who thought he was arrogant. Even Michael Jordan, now considered the GOAT, had his fair share of detractors who found his competitiveness off-putting. But these guys understood something fundamental. Being memorable matters more than being liked. Angel isn't making rookie mistakes with her personal brand. She's creating a blueprint for how to stand out in a league that's desperately fighting for attention. She's not doing what everyone expects from female athletes. She's not playing small or apologizing for taking up space. She's being authentic to herself, and it's working. The fans who connect with her really connect with her, and the ones who don't, they're still watching, still talking, still engaging. This isn't some accident or coincidence. It's a legitimate strategy that's paying off. While everyone's busy criticizing her attitude or comparing her unfavorably to Caitlin Clark, Angel's building a career that's going to last. When you look at her merchandise sales, they're impressive. Because love her or hate her, people want to be part of the conversation she's creating. What Angel understands that her critics don't is that sports need contrast. They need rivalries. They need personalities that make fans pick sides. The WNBA doesn't just need universally beloved stars. They need players who elicit strong reactions in both directions. That tension is what drives interest, gets people talking, and ultimately grows the game. You think it's an accident that sports networks constantly highlight the tension between players like Angel and Caitlyn? Of course not. They know exactly what they're doing. They're tapping into that basic human instinct to pick a side and defend it. And Angel is smart enough to play right into it, knowing that every criticism actually amplifies her platform. Those sports networks aren't just selling a rivalry, they're selling a carefully crafted narrative where one player gets to be the hero and another gets cast as the villain. And here's where things get really interesting. When two players show identical behavior on the court, why does only one of them get labeled difficult or problematic? The double standard is painfully obvious once you start paying attention. Watch any game where Caitlyn Clark argues with a referee. The commentators call her passionate and fiery. They praise her for caring so much about the game. Now flip the channel to Angel Reese doing the exact same thing. Suddenly the narrative shifts to unprofessional and immature. Same action, completely different reaction. And no, that's not a coincidence. This pattern extends far beyond just these two players. It's a reality that black female athletes have faced for generations. Serena Williams was criticized for showing emotion on the tennis court for her entire career. Simone Biles faced backlash for prioritizing her mental health. These women all share something in common. They're held to an impossible standard that their counterparts simply don't have to worry about. Remember when the Mirror published that article about Clark getting criticized for her interactions with refs? Jason Whitlock even called her out for it. But that criticism was barely a blip, a one-day story that quickly disappeared. Meanwhile, Angel faces a constant barrage of criticism that never seems to end. Every gesture, every celebration, every word is scrutinized under a microscope that Clark just doesn't experience. Angel isn't just playing basketball, she's navigating a minefield of expectations. She has to think about how she celebrates, how she reacts to calls, how she responds to opponents. She's playing with an entirely different rule book than Caitlyn Clark, who gets the benefit of the doubt almost automatically. When Angel steps onto the court, she's not just competing against the other team, she's fighting against preconceived notions about who she should be and how she should act. Take Doug Gottlieb's comments about the LSU women's basketball team. He specifically called out their constant trash talking and claimed it made them unpopular. But wait, trash talk has been woven into basketball's DNA forever. It's celebrated in the men's game. It's part of the culture. Why is it suddenly crossing a line when Angel and her teammates do it? The answer is uncomfortable but clear. And then there's Paul Pierce, who took things even further on Undisputed when he reduced an entire competitive matchup to, "We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls." His comments were widely criticized and rightfully so, but they exposed something that often goes unspoken in these conversations: how race shapes the way we view and judge athletes, even when their actions are identical. The media coverage itself tells the whole story. Headlines scream Angel Reese destroyed while simultaneously publishing feel-good stories about Clark's community service work. One player gets portrayed as a villain, while the other gets painted as the all-American hero. The narrative isn't subtle, it's right there on the surface for anyone willing to see it. What's truly impressive is how Angel has responded to all this. Rather than conforming to expectations that were never fair to begin with, she's doubled down on being authentically herself. Her so-called attitude isn't a character flaw, it's a refusal to play by rules designed for someone else. She's carving her own path, creating her own lane, and forcing the basketball world to accept her on her terms. And the truth is, women's basketball needs exactly this kind of disruption. For too long, female athletes have been expected to be palatable, humble, and non-threatening. Angel is showing a generation of young players that they don't have to shrink themselves to succeed. They can be bold, confident, and unapologetic, just like their male counterparts have always been allowed to be. So here's the thing, what we're witnessing with Angel Reese isn't a failure, it's a revolution. Sports history proves that rivalries and strong personalities drive interest like nothing else. Look at how the Clark-Reese dynamic is bringing eyeballs to the WNBA. It's literally following the blueprint that made other leagues successful. The contrasting styles between these two players creates the perfect storm for fan engagement. Some cheer, some boo, but everyone's watching. That's the secret sauce the WNBA has been missing. In the end, the league doesn't need two Caitlyn Clarks. It needs exactly what it has, a compelling narrative that keeps people talking.